We're at Davos here today with Hamdi Ulukaya, the founder and CEO of Chobani yogurts. Thank you for being with us here today. The question on everybody's minds here at Davos is, with a new administration starting tomorrow, we're just 24 hours from a Trump administration, what do you expect from this administration? Clearly this is an administration that has been elected and driven by a lot of disaffection among workers, with the system in the US. How do you feel about it? What do you expect?
Well, I just came from a panel. We pretty much talked about the same issue about the income inequality, and I think what we're expecting to see is how we're going to make sure that we immediately get into this topic, and how do we make sure that the people who are left behind and struggling can have an opportunity in this 21st century America. I operate in very small towns in upstate New York and in Idaho. I clearly see the struggle. I've been talking about it for years, how important these factories, these manufacturing places are for the people who live in these areas. And not only that, is how do we make sure that this new way of manufacturing, new way of plants are operated with the company, the employees, and the communities, that everyone has a stake on this new success, because we could talk about the administrations and the new president and the policies, but in the end it comes down to people like us, the CEOs and the business people, who has to acknowledge this and has to do something about it, because otherwise this gap is going to get wider and wider.
And I think you've actually brought refugees and migrants to come in and work in your company as well.
Yes.
You certainly have been very outspoken about the problem with refugees. Do you think, certainly in the West, in Europe and in the U.S., there's been a turn certainly against immigration? The waves of refugees in Europe have certainly kind of sparked this backlash against it. I mean, how can we respond to that in some ways? Can the business community respond to that in some ways?
So we're facing one of the most troubling human, tragedy in the recent history. Since 1940s, we didn't have this much, refugees around the world, and it's very bad, and it's bad for so many reasons. Bad for them, bad for where the world is today, and it's really bad if we don't respond to it. What happens to the humanity, going forward? I care about these things, deeply. When I started my plant in upstate New York, the Utica is one of the settlement area where the refugees are settled, and this is the people the U.S. government picks, from certain amount of different areas of camps, and it's about 19 different nationalities, from Asia to Africa to Middle East. The problem is, as they come, that's not the end of the story. They are in the safe zone, of course. They're in a new place, and they have working permit. The problem is, for a bigger portion of them, they don't have language, they don't have transportation, they don't have a lot of, they don't know many people. So the job is the first thing that they need to find, so they can build their new life. And I always say, the minute they have a job, that's the minute that they stop being a refugee, and that's the minute that they start being a part of the community. So as we grew our company in South Edmiston, when we realized that there were people out there that they couldn't find a job, with the community's help, we brought them in and make them part of the workforce. And so we have about 300 of them in South Ed and 300 of them in. What we have to do is give them an opportunity to be part of the community and society. And I'm proud to say is all my colleagues and partners in the company, with these 19 different nationalities, it's the most beautiful scenery when they are shoulder to shoulder making yogurt and building life.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.